going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam. It's that weekly update. It's hashtag rebound. It's day 32. And I can't find a quiet place. I'm sitting out in the front driveway on the driveway. And because there's kids playing out back, there's kids playing across the street, there's kids playing down the street, there's people out and about. It's cool though. Everybody's having a good time here in Houston, Texas. It's like 80 something degrees. The weather's great. I haven't seen rain since the day I got here. I don't know if that might be bad for the people here, but it's good for me because I've been riding my bicycle a lot and I'm prepared for the rain, but I don't want to deal with the rain. Not right now. I mean, I'm ready for it when it comes, but we'll deal with it when we get there. So yeah, once a week, and it's already sunset. The sun's gone down. It's still twilight. I'm just too busy. I'm too busy. I wanted to do a video update all day long today, and I'm just too busy to do anything right now. And it's harder right now to be completely alone, where I can focus on putting some content on the channel, than it was when I was in Jamestown and I could just walk down to the park and try and find a quiet place at the park. And you saw how that was going most of the time anyway. So so far this week I have logged, before I started working on the video, I've logged 77 hours of productive time in my time tracking app, and that covers working at the bakery, all the work getting ready, all the work that goes into getting ready and cycling to and from that job, my website design work for multiple clients, searching for a full-time software job, and then general organization and productive things. Not counting the chores and the household stuff and things like that. I don't track that time. So, I mean, how do I fit in YouTube with all that going on? The daily YouTube stuff back when I was in Jamestown was take all together, everything involved, not just the shooting of the video and the uploading, but everything that went into it was taking about, on average, 30 hours a week for everything that I was doing in relation to putting out a daily video every day. So am I supposed to spend 110 hours a week being productive in order to be able to put out a daily video again? So I don't know. That's why I'm reduced to doing this once a week for the time being. I probably just need to figure out a space and time to do a daily or semi-daily video. My bike ride to and from the day job at the bakery, it's insanely loud. It's insanely loud. It would be really hard to find a quiet place between here and there. The traffic and the noise level on those roads makes anything I dealt with in Jamestown pale in comparison. They're very heavily trafficked, non-stop cars going by both directions. One of the roads is a 2-lane road with no shoulders and a constant stream of traffic. It's very difficult to even cross the road. And the other road that I take for the second half of the trip is a 4-lane road, with strip malls and traffic lights and that kind of a road. Very fast, very wide shoulders, but loud, obnoxiously loud. I had to do some research, and I had to find some really loud Bluetooth speakers, one of which I already owned and another of which I had to buy. And I have to use both of these speakers simultaneously so that I can have really good music while I'm cycling to and from work. It's starting to approach car stereo volume on the bicycle with these two Bluetooth speakers. I have a JBL Flip 5 that fits snugly in the seat post water bottle mount. It was almost like it was designed for that purpose. It fits exactly in the water bottle mount, and with an extra Velcro strap that I use just to keep it secure so that it won't come flying out in a crash or something like that. it's almost like it was designed for that. I've had this Flip 5 for a long time, but I found a really good purpose for it. And then I got a JBL Go 4 that has a heavy-duty rubberized case and a Velcro strap attachment, and it fits snugly on my aero bars, the time trial handlebars that stick out in front of my flat bar on the front of the bike. In fact, altogether, when you count the lights and the speakers, there's so many batteries to charge regularly that I'm having a hard time figuring out how to get that into my regular rotation. After I record this video, I have to go charge both of the speakers, the 5 lights, 5 different lights, and then finish packing 5 complete sets of clothes for this week's commuting. For each day's commute, I packed 2 synthetic shirts, 1 for each direction, then my underwear, socks, and shorts for every day, and then I also have to pack a pair of jeans with a belt and a black t-shirt that I wear to the bakery, and then a hat, because, you know, it's much cooler to wear a hat over a hairnet when you work in a kitchen. I take a bunch of other emergency tools for bike-related issues, and then also things like a lock and those kinds of things. And I even have a stainless steel water bottle that I fill with cold brew coffee and have that ready to go before the morning. I do all of this the night before I take off on a morning commute, because I don't want to be dealing with this stuff at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning every day. In fact, right now, because the distance is only 5 miles each way, the preparation for all of this takes way longer than the 10 miles per day that I'm cycling takes. I'm cool with the job being 5 miles away. It's quick to get there and quick to get back. The time it takes to ride a bicycle there and back is almost equal to the time it would take to drive, aside from changing clothes and the general, you know, that kind of stuff. But in the end, I would be getting better exercise and more productive time on the bicycle if I had to cycle 10 miles or more each way to a job, getting 20 or more miles per day. You know, the bicycle, obviously, it needs maintenance. I still need a few doodads before I figure that my setup is complete and not lacking in anything. I had to order a new set of tires because I saw some issues with the sidewalls of my current tires. And these tires on this bike has been through a lot, and it was sitting for a few years without being touched or ridden at all. And I just threw it together when I got here in Texas. And so these tires have a couple of thousand miles on them, but I just pumped them up and started riding. I do get some really good puncture-resistant Continental tires that I've been using on this bike for years. And typically I can get 1,000 miles out of a set before I start getting flat tires. I've gone on 500-mile rides with a brand new set of these tires and never had a flat, never lost air. So, and they're skinny road bike tires, but they have a tiny bit of tread. And so even though this is a road bike, taking crushed limestone bike trails and a little bit of dirt here and there, the tires have a little bit of bite. And it's a lot more comfortable on things like that, and things where you're basically in the unknown. And it's a good all-around tire. But they do roll pretty smooth on the roads, which I'm mostly riding this bicycle on the roads. They're very skinny. They roll like a road bike. They do take 100 PSI to get them up to firmness. And, you know, they're just not skinny enough, and the bike is not light enough for me to be able to average 30 miles an hour on the flats around here like I might be able to do if I had a pure road racing bike. But if I had a pure road racing bike, I would have other problems with a daily commute. I also noticed that some other small parts on the bike have some wear and tear and need to be replaced, like my derailleur pulleys on the rear derailleur. But considering this derailleur was Shimano's absolute top-of-the-line XTR derailleur back in 1995, I had to do a little bit of homework to source some good replacement parts for that. So once again, you know, when people ask, Why would you spend $1,000 or more on a bicycle, which I would like to say I did not spend anywhere near that much on this bicycle that I ride right now? The answer is, to that question, why would you spend $1,000 on a bicycle or more? And my answer is, can you buy a car that will have parts that last 29 years before they need their first servicing? I've had this derailleur since 1995, and this is the first time I've needed to mess with it. So the derailleur it came off of a mountain bike back in 1995 that would have cost about $5,000 back then. I bought the bike used on eBay and stripped that bike bare and kept the parts. And then I sold the frame and the suspension fork and the rear shock for nearly what I paid for the whole bike. Life over the last few weeks has basically revolved around my bicycle and just improving that on a day-to-day basis. But aside from the new tires and a couple of parts, right now all I really feel like I need to be complete once again with daily cycling are a few pair of good bicycle shorts. And for the 5-mile rides that I'm taking right now, I really don't care. I could care less about bicycle shorts. I really don't need them until I'm riding 30 miles or more in a single ride. That's when the old taint starts to take a beating, and those padded cycling shorts are going to help immensely with that. Even when I wear those, I always throw on a pair of thin running shorts over them that cover them up so that I look normal when I get off the bike and I can go into the grocery store, or I can walk into an establishment and look like a normal guy, and I don't look like I just got off of a bicycle. So anyway, I said in the last video that I would do some videos about being a bicycle commuter, and I'm getting there. I'm maybe a week away from having my bike perfectly dialed in, aside from some bicycle shorts. And I might even grab a pair or two of those within the next week or so, and I might take a ride out to the local bike shop one of the days in the next week or so, because that's the kind of thing I would rather buy at a bike shop than, or an outfitter like REI or something like that. I would much rather buy them at a place like that than get them on Amazon and, you know, hope they fit. So speaking of Amazon, I did set up an Amazon affiliate account. And what I plan on doing is showing you guys the bike once I, figure out how I'm going to shoot the videos. I'm going to go through everything at a high level, just kind of walk you through the bike and what's on the bike and what I pack in my bag and just how I prepare for a bicycle ride. And then I'll get into the details of it. And now, all I'm saying is, to be a bicycle commuter, I would definitely not say that you need to do everything that I do in order to pull it off. I'm just pretty meticulous when it comes to certain things. And really what it boils down to, all you really need is a bicycle, a backpack or some bag to carry your stuff in, and a few basic tools. Basically, you need to be able to fix a flat tire. That's the main issue that you might have during a bike ride. And then from there, from there you can always improve your situation. And there are things I can talk about there to help you mitigate the other things that might take place that you might need to take care of. I know lots of people who commute by bicycle, especially in Pittsburgh. And everybody I know who does it has a different way of doing things. Some people have dedicated bicycles just for commuting versus their racing or other types of bike riding. I mean, some people I know, they use their junk bikes to commute to the city to mitigate the risk of theft. Or, even if you leave your bicycle in a bicycle garage in a populated city, people will come and mess with it. I've had parts get stolen off of bicycles in the past. So sometimes people use junk bikes to commute to the city. And that way, if you have a junky bike locked up on a lock, people are just going to leave it alone and go after the more expensive bikes. Some people ride single speeds. Just for maintenance and reliability purposes. And, there's all kinds of flavors. of what people like to do. And for, you know, myself, I don't like to use fenders because they add more complexity to the bike, and I generally just don't like messing with them. They tend to get out of alignment and rub against the tires, and they're just more stuff to deal with. And so, and I don't mind getting wet. If it's raining, you're going to get wet. The fenders will just help you not get a stripe of dirt up your backside. And they'll help prevent the water coming from the front tire up into your face and those kinds of things. But so does the bike frame, helps with that. And there are just lots of different things that you can do. I'll cover them. But, you know, the fenders do serve a purpose, and I know people who have a dedicated commuting bicycle with fenders and racks and all the things that you might want mounted to the bike permanently. I mean, these things can pop on and off relatively easy, but when people have a dedicated commuter bicycle, they set it up specifically for that purpose. And so my bicycle is set up mostly for that purpose, but I like to be able to quickly change things out. Say I want to go on a 200-mile ride and I'm going to spend the night somewhere and sleep somewhere. I would change out a lot of stuff on this bike quickly for that purpose, and then when I come back and go back to commuter mode, I'm going to swap a bunch of stuff and change it back to the commuter setup. So I like to have a multi-purpose. Everything I do to my bike for the commuting purposes is very easy to do and undo. And so I'll walk you through my whole setup once I have it 100% nailed down. I'll tell you why I chose the things I chose. I'm sure it'll give you some ideas of how to make bicycling more enjoyable and easier, and, you know, help you feel a little bit more confident that you can go on a distance away from your house and not worry about it if something goes wrong. You know, I never copy anybody else verbatim when it comes to setting up and doing these things, and neither should you. It's just about giving you guys some ideas. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, to make the daily commute easier, I'm in the habit right now of putting together a complete set of clothing for each day's commute on Sunday, so that I don't need to scramble at all during the week. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, everything's just lined up, folded, ready to go. Everything from socks and underwear to shorts to shirts and clothing I need for the job, everything. I keep my slip-resistant steel-toe boots at the bakery right now, so I don't have to carry those back and forth. Right now, my biggest thing is trying to figure out a good place to set up a permanent charging station, because I have 5 different lights and 2 speakers to charge, and I want to be able to just pull everything out, plug it all in all at once, simultaneously, and unplug it however many hours later, instead of scrambling. And I want a place that's dedicated for that, because I'm doing it often enough that I'm sick and tired of pulling out cables and pulling out things and then having to put it all away. So that's something I'm trying to do this week to make that more efficient. Let's see, you know, I can get a few days out of the lights or more. I can probably get a whole week out of the lights because I'm only using them for 15 minutes a day. But the speakers, they're on full blast 30 minutes or more per day. And after a few days, it's likely that they're just going to power off while I'm riding. I've really not figured out exactly how long I get from those yet, but last week the JBL Flip 5 drained completely and it shut off in the middle of my ride home. And so, you know, I don't want that. It's the music, it's just like back in the days when Viking ships had a bunch of slaves rowing the boat, and you had some guy at the back of the boat banging on a drum so that the rowers would keep a certain pace. And that's what it's like when you have music on the bicycle. It pushes you an extra 2 to 5 miles an hour. And, you know, if you're riding for an hour, you're getting, you know, an extra 5 miles every hour. So the speaker, the music makes a big difference, but I'm never going to wear headphones. I'll never ride a bicycle with headphones in my ears. whether I'm on a bike trail, mountain biking, whether I'm on a road or whatever, you need to be able to hear what's going on around you, traffic-wise, people, things on the trail. It doesn't matter where you are. You need to have your audio perception. I will not wear... I've been hit by cars. I was hit by a car when I think I was 16 years old. I was hit by a car head on. I was going 45 miles an hour, and the car was going about 30. So when you combine the two speeds, that was like a 75 mile an hour hit. I flew 30 feet from the car and was lucky enough to land in the grass on the side of the road. And other than some scrapes, I was able to get right up off the ground and I was fine. But I've been there. There's certain things I just won't do when it comes to cycling because I've had the experience and I know what it's like. I know how quickly things can go from feeling awesome to horrible. I know a guy who was breaking all kinds of record. He won the race across America a couple of times. He was trying to cycle 1 million miles in his life, and he was coming close to it. I mean, he was probably in the 800,000 mile mark. He took a small spill, flipped over his handlebars during a group ride one day, and broke his neck, and he's paralyzed from the neck down for the rest of his life. So, I mean, these things can happen. I was in prison with a guy the guy I told you guys about, 14 months for killing another person, and I got 2 years for mean tweets. Well, he hit a guy on a bicycle. And unfortunately, it ended up being his fault because he had drank a few drinks before coming home from the bar with his coworkers that night. But the cyclist was riding on the wrong side of the road, dressed in all black with no lights and no reflectors, and he had headphones in his ears. And, I mean, he was basically doing 20 different things that you shouldn't do. And so I'm going to pin most of the blame on the cyclist in that case, because a couple of reflectors, some reflective tape, some lights, not having headphones in your ears, and a few other things, not wearing all black. You might still be alive today, dog, if you had a little bit of common sense on the bicycle, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, before I go to bed tonight, I got to pack tomorrow's clothing and all 5 days worth of clothing. I have a checklist for all this stuff. I got to make sure all 5 lights are mounted and charged. After daylight savings time kicks back the hour, I won't need to use lights for at least a month. Maybe I'm not sure when the sun rises on the solstice, but I'll have a lot less need to use lights once the daylight savings time kicks in. And I'm just gonna have to play it and see how it goes day by day from there. And if I want to shoot some of these videos and share some of this with you guys, I got to clean up and recharge all of my GoPro cameras and the batteries for those and the camera cards for those. If I even have them here in Texas with me, I believe I have them, but I haven't seen them since I moved here. I have a feeling they're in a camera bag I haven't opened yet. And when I find them, I should have a helmet mount or a chest strap mount, or probably both. I might even have a handlebar mount. I have 3 GoPro cameras, so I could do some pretty cool videos of the crazy roads on this crazy commute that I take. I wish that wasn't the case, but you know, the traffic really doesn't bother me at all because I've been doing this since I was 14 years old. And now 35 years later at 49, it's just second nature to ride on busy roads. I don't like it, but I'm not afraid of it. But it's not for everybody. I'll fully admit that. But there are no other ways to go. I'm in a cul-de-sac with one road in and out, and there's one road from there that leads to my job. It's it's not the best situation, but I'll just make it work. Like I said, I take the proper precautions, and I'm always looking up looking to up my game in the safety aspects of this bicycling stuff as well. Just finding more reflective gear. But right now, anybody coming up on my rear, they're getting a light show worthy of a disco club or a rave. And anybody who approaches me from the front is getting high beamed. And there's no way people are not seeing me. In fact, they're getting pissed off when they come up on me. And that's the point. Because when people are mad at you, that means that they see you. And you need them to see you. And that's about it. Like I said, I've set up an Amazon affiliate account, and I'll start out with an overview about the bike commuting thing, and then I'm just going to get into details about all of my gear, and I'm going to give you a product review for everything. I'll provide links to all of it on Amazon and other sources that I buy it from. And these clicks might earn me some revenue, you know, pennies on the dollar, let's say, but you know, since I dropped the video frequency down to once per week, the views and ad counts on YouTube have dropped significantly. But I don't have the 30 hours a week to spend to do a daily video drop for you guys right now. So I'm just going to take it day by day. You know, I'll try to find a way to get into a more regular rhythm, but right now I had to take the 30 hours a week I was spending on YouTube and channel it into other areas. So hopefully I'll figure out something soon, but that's my weekly update for you guys. The sun is fully down. It is now pretty much nighttime. And once again, I didn't get out the door and get outside in time to do it in the sunshine. So I'm going to be getting off the video here. I'm going to hit the upload button. I'm going to fold a week's worth of gear, clothing wise, charge all the batteries that need charged, get the bicycle set up for my 6:30 in the morning bike ride, and I'll talk to you guys in a few. Peace out.